Thank you for joining us. Welcome to LumioseStation.
What's up, LumioseStation, and welcome back to another episode of the Pokemon DataDex with me, TheOneIntegral. In the last episode, we covered another Mega Evolution, Mega Heracross, and I asked you guys to vote for the next Pokemon we're going to be covering, which was Espeon or Umbreon. Now, the vote was very close indeed, but in the end, it went to Espeon, so Nappy wins, pretty much. Well, Nappy would not have been happy if he had to upload an Umbreon video. Anyway, so we're doing a vote for next week, as you would expect. We're doing a battle of the fire types from Generation 1, so if you want to see Ninetales, comment down below saying Ninetales, and if you want to see Arcanine, comment down below saying Arcanine, and the one that gets the most votes, I will certainly be covering in the next episode of the Pokemon DataDex. So without further ado, let's get on with this week's episode, in which we're covering Espeon. So Espeon, it's a pure psychic type and it's number 196 in the National Pokedex, or number 81 in the Coastal Kalos Pokedex as well. It's the Sun Pokemon, as you can see it's based off of a cat. Espeon stands at 2 foot 11 inches tall or 0.9 meters tall and weighs 58.4 pounds or 26.5 kilograms. It's in the field egg group, and it's majority of the time it's a male 87.5% of the time and a female 12.5% of the time, so it sort of makes sense in most cases. Evolution chain wise, it evolves from Eevee when leveled up with high friendship during the day. Base stat wise, Espeon has reasonably low health points, attack, defense, not brilliant. Special attack, however, is 130, which is pretty darn high. Speed is also pretty high at 110, and then special defense is sort of in the middle as well at 95. So it has some decent base stats in terms of special attack and speed. However, it's not that bulky in terms of, well, bulk, I guess. So, looking at its typing first, being a pure psychic type, it only resists 2 types, which are fighting and psychic itself, and is then weak to 3 types, being ghost, bug, and dark. It takes neutral from all the other types, which I'm not going to list because there are quite a lot it takes neutral from. So the typing here is not amazing because it's got 3 weaknesses and 2 resistances, and it's only got 2 sort of thing. You know, some people want to get 5 resistances, so it's not brilliant in terms of typing, but being a pure psychic type, it's not too bad. Ability wise, for Espeon, its basic ability is Synchronize, which passes poison, paralysis, or a burn onto the Pokemon that inflicted it. So if you use Toxic on Espeon and it's got a Synchronize, you're just going to get Toxic yourself pretty much, or you'll both get Toxic. However, arguably the hidden ability for Espeon is better than the actual normal ability because it does the same and more, I guess. It's Magic Bounce, which reflects status moves. Now this includes stuff like Stealth Rock, it includes stuff like Toxic, as I've sort of mentioned already. So it means with Synchronize, if you Toxic your Espeon, or the enemy's Espeon rather, Espeon will get Toxic, and then the opponent will get Toxic as well. So you'd have one up because then they'd be poisoned as well. Whereas Magic Bounce reflects it, so you don't even get poisoned. They do. So Magic Bounce is the better ability in all cases. Synchronize isn't a bad ability, but we just, you know, is much better. Obviously, Magic Bounce reflects stats moves there. So obviously you can still get burnt or poisoned by moves that can inflict burn or poison. For example, let's go for Fire Blast, you can get burnt from that, I'm pretty sure. So you could still get burned that way, but really Magic Bounce is the better ability in all cases. Looking at Espeon's highlighted moves, I've not got 10 here as usual. There are a few more we're going to use in sets later on, but I've just chosen the main ones here. First up we have Baton Pass, which is learned at level 33 as an Eevee, so you have to make sure not to evolve it until then. Obviously it's not hard because obviously it evolves with high friendship, so you have to stop it evolving until it learns Baton Pass, if you want to use it of course. And this is obviously going to switch out while maintaining your stat boost, which can be quite helpful in some situations. Then level 37, its only level up move we're including here is Psychic. Nice powerful Psychic type move here, special as well. Then to go along with that we have TMO3 Psy-Shock. Same as Psychic pretty much, however it takes, instead of using the opponent's special defense stat, it uses the opponent's physical defense stat. Now why would you want to do this? Well, obviously it's good for a Pokemon that has lower physical defense than special defense. So generally, if you're carrying some of the other special moves we're going to be looking at, you may as well carry Psy-Shock rather than Psychic, because then you've got a move to use on highly special defensive Pokemon that have lower physical defense, rather than having all moves that are going to hit special defense and then being screwed against any special wall at all. Then we have TMO4 Calm Mind, which obviously can be used in coordination with the Baton Pass we saw earlier, because you can Calm Mind a couple of times, you get those boosts, and then you can Baton Pass out of someone that can take advantage of those Calm Minds. For example, Alakazam, I don't know, I made it up on the spot. Anyways, that's Calm Mind there. Then TM10 is Hidden Power. Reasonably good move, obviously it depends on hidden power. It can be good to cover some Pokemon, for example, if you had a fighting type hidden power, you're going to be able to cover the dark types there, which is quite good. If you had fire, you can cover the bug types you're weak to, and stuff like that generally. Then TM16 it can learn Light Screen, and TM33 it can learn Reflect. This will be used on the first setup we're looking at, which is a very common setup for Espeon. Worked quite well. Light Screen obviously doubles, I think it is, your team's special defense for 5 turns. I think it's 5 or 3. For a certain amount of turns, and Reflect boosts your physical defense. So very similar moves, but Espeon can learn both of them. Then TM86 it can learn Grass Knot, a bit more coverage in terms of moves, because if you look at the moves so far, we just have Psychic and normal types. Hidden Power being Hidden Power being any type, but you get what I mean. Grass Knot can be helpful against some Pokemon that have, obviously, a heavy, so we'll have to see about that. Then, a one egg move here, which is Stored Power. This is very good when used in tandem, I guess, with Calm Mind, and maybe also Bat and Pass as well. You can Calm Mind. Now, I think Stored Power, if you don't know about Stored Power, guys, is the power of Restored Power depends on how many stat boosts you've had. It starts off at 20, and I think it rises by 10 each stat boost you've had. So every Calm Mind, it goes up by 20. So first Calm Mind is the 40, then 60, then 80, and then it can go up, I don't know what the maximum is, probably 120, something along those lines. So if you can actually get in a situation where you can use Calm Mind over and over and over, and you power up your Stored Power, it could become even more powerful than Psychic, so that's very good there. One transfer move for Espeon as well, which is Signal Beam, bug type move. Again, special, just more coverage really. This one can cover dark types because obviously it's super effective against dark types, so that's very helpful there. Obviously it has to be transferred from black to white though, so obviously if you're an X and Y breeder you're not going to be able to get that move, which is a shame, but you can make deal with the other ones. So let's move on to our first Wi-Fi battling setup for Espeon here. As I said, this is the very basic one, everyone knows about the setup. It is the dual screen set. So the rule set is Reflect and Light Screen, as you might expect, Bat and Pass or Hidden Power, and then Psychic or Psy-Shock. Ability is Magic Bounce, Nature is Timid, held items are Light Clay, and EVs are maximum health points, maximum speed, and the rest in special attacks. So looking at moveset first, obviously the first two are just the screens, so obviously we have to have those, not even going to bother to talk about those. Choice of Bat and Pass or Hidden Power now. Obviously you can just switch out, but I haven't got any, there's no moves here that are boosting your stats, so Bat and Pass isn't good for doing that, but it can be good for just to switch out, because you're a timid nature here, which means you're quite fast, so you could switch out, or something along those lines, guys. Hidden Power I would recommend there, but Bat and Pass is just there in case, in a situation randomly it could be used. Hidden Power is pretty good though, just to give you more exposure? Coverage. And also Grass Knot could be put in there, or Signal Beam if you're going from black to white too, because you just want coverage move there. Choice of Psychic or Psy-Shock. It's really up to you here. Obviously we haven't got too many coverage moves there, we only have one more if that. So you might want to go for the Psychic just to get the really powerful stab off. Because Psychic is a bit more powerful than Psy-Shock, you gotta remember. Or you give Psy-Shock to get the low defensive ones. Ability Magic Bounce, as I said earlier, it's better than Synchronized in almost all the cases, so we may as well have that. Nature being Timid, so hopefully if you, a lot of people run this Espeon as a lead, so they lead out and then depending on what the opposing Pokemon is, they can set up a screen to deal with that. So say they lead off and it's against a Charizard, Charizard's not a good example there actually. Say it's against an Azumarill, okay? It's an Azumarill. Azumarill is obviously going to be a physical attack unless someone is running a really weird special Azumarill set, which Nexus will probably throw up at. So you would want to use Reflect there, so hopefully you'll be faster than Azumarill. Obviously Azumarill has Aqua Jet, but we can ignore that for this example here. Hopefully you'll be faster than Azumarill. You can get the Reflect up with Timid Nature, and then any attack Azumarill throws you that turn is going to be doing half damage because of the Reflect. Your held item, the Light Clay, extends the duration of the screens, so that's quite helpful there. Actually allows your team to sort of bulk it out for a lot longer. EVs being maximum attack, maximum health points, maximum speed, allows you to be fast and get the screens up, and also just to be a bit more bulky in terms of allowing you to actually survive a couple turns. The rest in special attack is just in case you need to attack at some point. As I've sort of mentioned, you want to be really getting both the screens up. So obviously if it's a Zoomer you can get the Reflect up, and then you can get the Light Screen at the second turn. You might be able to survive 2 turns if obviously you get the Reflect up. They might switch out, you never know. But once you've got 2 screens up, then you can, if you've got Bat and Pass you can do that, but you can just switch out otherwise. Or you might die after you use your second screen, you remember. But then you can switch out another Pokemon that's going to then take less damage because of the screens, and it's going to allow you to pretty much destroy the enemy team. You can try and keep Espeon around after you've used it for a lead, and then use it later on in the battle to set up more screens, which is obviously recommended. You could obviously set 1 screen up, pull back, Then once you use a Pokemon, switch Espeon in again and get another screen up, because you are pretty fast. So you could use it that way, or you could just use it as a suicide lead just to get some screens up and allow you to actually do some damage right at the start of the match. Second moveset we're looking at here for Espeon is sort of what we mentioned earlier, which was the sort of setting up set, I guess you can call it. Moveset is Bat and Pass, Storm Power, Calm Mind or Substitute, but I wouldn't recommend Substitute to be honest, and then Dazzling Gleam. Then ability is Magic Bounce. Nature here this time is Bold actually. Held items are leftovers, and EVs are maximum health points, maximum defense, and the rest in special defense. So looking at the moveset, obviously we have Bat and Pass, and that's going to go into tandem with Calm Mind there. Obviously Substitute is there because you could set up a sub and then Bat and Pass out to keep the sub around, which is obviously why Substitute is there, but I would recommend Calm Mind in my opinion. Store Power is there once you've used enough Calm Mind, so it's going to do some damage, and Dazzling Gleam is there to hit Dark types, because otherwise you're not going to be able to hit them with your Stored Power. Ability, I'm not even going to mention it because we already said that Magic Bounce is better. Nature is a Bold Nature. This is going to boost your defense and lower your physical attack, and that's because Espeon, as we saw earlier, its physical defense is not as good as its special defense, so putting maximum EVs in its defense and giving a defense boost in nature keeps it equal. You don't want to be really specially defensive, because then any physical attacker is just going to wreck through you. So sort of sharing it out, plus obviously once the Calm Mind's going up, your special defense is rising there, whereas you've got no way to increase your physical defense. Held items leftovers just so you can try and restore some health points, especially behind a sub if you're using that, or just once you're Calm Minding and sort of they're doing less damage to you, so your leftovers are sort of counteracting more, sort of thing. As I said, EV's maximum health points and maximum defense. Health points just to give you overall bulk defense, because defense is your lower one, and the rest in special defense because that's the way you want to do it. So how do you do this? You really need to look at the opening for the opponent. Obviously if you're using sub, you can set up the sub when you have an opening if you're going to predict a switch to them, or you can give the Calm Mind when you predict a switch. If you need to, go straight for Dazzling Gleam. Store Power is no point going for straight away sort of thing, because it's only going to do 20 power, which is nothing at all. So really you need to be using Dazzling Gleam to start off with until you've got a couple Calm Minds up. Obviously if you're using sub, you might want to think about switching Store Power out just for Psychic, because otherwise sub's not the one. You're not going to be able to boost up your Store Power at all, and it's going to be a terrible move to have on the set. So yeah, generally I'd recommend Bat and Pass, Store Power, Calm Mind, Dazzling Gleam, or Bat and Pass, Psychic or Psyshock, Substitute, Dazzling Gleam. That's the way you use that set. Let's move on to the final set now. This one is a full-out offensive Espeon here, okay. Moveset is Psychic or Psyshock, being your choice of, again, special defense or physical defense. Hidden Power there as well. And then Signal Beam or Grass Knot. And finally, I've also put Shadow Ball here. I'm pretty sure Espeon gets Shadow Ball. Yes, I've just checked and I confirm Espeon gets Shadow Ball. Just wanted to check just in case. Anyway, so yes, Shadow Ball there. Ability Magic Bounce, as we know. Nature this time is Timid again because we're going to be fast. Held item is a Life Orb in this case because we want the power coming off. EVs are maximum special attack, maximum speed, and the rest in health points. Again, getting the power off, being really fast and really high attacking. So moveset, really Psychic or Psyshock. I would recommend Psyshock here to get the ones that have a high special defense. Hidden Power really depends on what hidden power you can get. You could just put Signal Beam and Grass Knot depending on what type it is. Signal Beam is going to help against Dark types, Shadow Ball is going to help against Ghost types, Grass Knot is going to help you against just general, super effective hitting and stuff like that. Nature, as I said, is Timid just to be fast and be high attacking. Held item Life Orb just to get the power off. Really how you use the set is you come into battle, use what move you need to use, switch out if you need to, hopefully be faster than the opponent, and just do damage. There is not much else to use in the offensive Espeon set, really. And that's pretty much it for Espeon, guys. 3 sets there, obviously screens, then you got a bit of a setup, and then we finally have offensive. So guys, that's it for this episode of the Pokemon DataDex. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button down below, and leave a comment saying whether you want to see Ninetales or Arcanine next week, and whichever one wins, I'll be covering next week. So guys, thank you for watching, I'll be seeing you next time, goodbye.